Hello, welcome back to week 4 of the Transfer Portal Gambling Show. I'm joined by Andrew and Matt. We don't have Andrew and Drewster and Matt. We don't have Andrew today. But before we get into the show, and Drewster, a word from our sponsor.
Winning season has officially returned, and with the NCAA back in action, plenty of opportunities to win at MyBookie. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or a first-timer, MyBookie gets you the most for your money with a double deposit bonus up to $1,000 for first-time account creators. To claim your bonus, sign up and use the promo code TRANSFER on your first deposit, and you'll instantly double your money. It's simple. Make a $100 deposit, put $200 in your account, and you can use your funds to bet on as many individual games, contests, or props as you want. Bet on team win totals, predict the national championship winner, or use the MyBookie prop builder to give yourself the edge you need to secure the bag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Beautiful. I love that we're sponsored. I'll say that every single time you read the ad read. We'll get into it. We're going to skip the Thursday and Friday games because we don't really have any plays. This comes out on Friday. You'll see our Thursday picks on Tally site. We'll tweet those out for you. I'll just kick it off with, shocker, I'm going to kick it off with Penn State. I'm not going with the spread here because, again, 28's big for me. I think Central Michigan's not good. Penn State easily covered against Ohio, but 28 kind of skeeves me out. My play in this game, though, is going to be over 63 just because Penn State's offense is going to eviscerate Central Michigan's defense. They're going to score a ton of points. They're going to pull Clifford in the first half. Drew Aller's going to come in the second half. He's going to score touchdowns at home. And then I think that Central Michigan will get like 1 or 2 touchdowns with Lou Nichols and Daniel Richardson in. And then they'll score one more maybe to get to 21 late in the fourth quarter. But Penn State already have like 45 by that point. So that'll get you over late in the fourth quarter. I'm on over 63 for that game.
Yeah, I like that. Penn State just has so many offensive dudes. And even when you talk about you take Clifford out of the game, well, there's a better quarterback coming off the bench.
Yeah, I love Drew. He's unbelievable. He's our future. It's very exciting to see Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, and Drew Aller out there already. The next noon game, we're going to stay in the Big Ten. Matt, do you want to start off with Maryland, Michigan?
This is my lock, so no.
Oh,
Ooh.
All right. Well, then I didn't know it was your lock. I didn't read that on the board, but I'll go. I have Maryland plus 17. You might be disagree. We'll find out later. But I just think that Maryland, they looked pretty good last week against SMU. That was like a hard-fought win. Michigan hasn't proved anything to me. And I think 17 is a fair line, but I think Maryland keeps this one close. Again, it'll be one of those games. Michigan's going to win pretty it's not going to be too hard for them, but I think Maryland will keep it within 17. They'll score late to get close, make it like 13, I think 10. But I think Talia and those dudes in the wide receiver core will keep it close. And I think Maryland can cover the 17.
Yeah, Maryland was a team I was banking on early in the season and even before the season. I love their offense. It hasn't looked amazing, especially against teams like Charlotte. You kind of want to beat Charlotte by a little bit more, but
yeah,
if the defense can kind of hold its own, I trust Talia enough. I trust Dante Demas, and I trust Rakim Jarrett enough. So I like that.
I'm in the same exact boat there. And then another noon game. I just realized that I kind of stacked up my morning slate. I talked about this on the upset show. I think Wake Forest is a good shot to beat Clemson. I know neither team is impressed. Wake Forest won a close one against Liberty, but I think that's because they were looking ahead to this Clemson game. And Clemson hasn't impressed me. If you're going to give me a touchdown dog at home with Sam Hartman at quarterback, I think Wake Forest keeps this close. Even if Clemson does win the game, they won't blow them out. They'll win by less than a touchdown. I think they could have won by 4 or 5, whatever. I think Wake Forest keeps this one close. I think they could even win, but I'm going Wake Forest plus 7.
Yeah, I love that. This will be in my parlay, but I love that play.
Yeah, I just think, like we said in the ACC preview, 11-1 Wake Forest. This is where it starts. This is how you get there. But, yeah, I'm a big fan of that play.
Yeah, I wonder – DJ hasn't looked awful this year, but when are we going to see Cade Klubnik? We saw it in the Georgia Tech game. He just looks like the smoother quarterback, better mechanics. I want to see him for 4 quarters of football. I don't want to see him for 2 drives, Dabo. I want to see 4 quarters.
Yeah,
The prediction in our ACC preview was actually that he gets benched at halftime of this game. So you could see this game.
Possible.
that was my prediction. Yep. Yeah, I'm excited for that game. I wish it was a night game so we could kind of like. I don't have other games around it, but that's going to be the best game of that noon slate.
That's easily my favorite game of the noon slate.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one. I think that rounds it up for us for the noon games, right? If we're gonna move on.
Believe so.
There's not a lot of games on there.
Yeah, Kansas Duke game of the week, but I'm not touching that. I don't think that you can't take that game.
3-0 Kansas, 3-0 Duke.
What is the
game
total in that game?
Let's find out.
Because I know Kansas can score. Jalen Daniels is a very good football player.
It's pretty high, 66.5.
Yeah, okay. Never mind. Not touching that.
I mean, I think Kansas can score. I just don't know if Duke. I don't think Duke will be able to score enough to keep up.
No, I like Kansas to win. I'm just not going to touch that spread.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you want to throw Kansas money line a parlay, hey, go for it. The 2:00 games, we don't really have anything, but I just like to, since we're a Fade Colorado podcast, I'm leaning UCLA, but I just don't. UCLA's, I don't trust them. Maybe if you want to take Colorado team total under, but no official plays from us and the Fade Colorado portion of the show.
Yeah, it's not even me being confident in Colorado because that doesn't exist. Their own AD isn't confident in Colorado. It's the fact that they should have lost to South Alabama, UCLA being they, and UCLA just hasn't looked good. This is going to be a garbage football game. If you told me the final score was 14-10, I would be like, wow, Colorado scored 10 points.
Yeah, it's not.
Our guys at Sickos have some absolute gems this week. There are some yucky games.
Oh, it's a good thing they were the podcast guests, which you should check out.
I was tempted at 2 different times to bet on Hawaii money line and Virginia Tech money line. So that tells you how yucky this slate is. It's disgusting. It's awful, which means we're going to make the most money on it.
Yeah, hopefully, or we get screwed. But I think I'm very confident in our plays so far. So that kind of rounds up the 2:00. 3:30, probably the best 3:30 game. We'll start off with Florida and Tennessee. I think I don't have an official play for it, but I just think it's going to be a good game. And I think, Matt, you have a play, right?
Yeah, I have Tennessee romping Florida. It's minus 10.5. I'll take that up to 13.5. Florida just hasn't looked good since their opening week shocker against Utah. They almost lost to USF last week. They were on upset alert for most of that game. I think then it just comes down to Tennessee has a defense that I think will be able to stop what Florida can do. Anthony Richardson has struggled throwing the ball, and I think Tennessee will be able to stop the run. And I can't say the same the other way. Tennessee has one of the higher pace, more electric offenses in the country, and I don't think Florida will be able to contend with that. So I have Tennessee minus 10.5.
Of all the Heismans in this country right now, I think we can all say that the week 1 Anthony Richardson Heisman was a case in itself that no longer stands for anything on this ground. He's been so bad over the last 2 games. He should have lost to USF. I'll stand on that hill until I die.
Yeah, that poor Holder, man. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
He just dropped in and the kicker almost drilled it. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, he almost hit it as well. Like he almost hit it with the bad hold.
Yeah, it was a weird knuckler where it just kind of slid right and they just pushed it.
Yeah, it was a slider.
Yeah. So the next game, I took this earlier in the week. Texas Tech. Texas opened at 4.5, and I jumped on it when the line came out. Now it's moved to 6.5. I'm still going to give that as an official play. I think their defense will absolutely shut down Texas Tech. Texas Tech couldn't move the ball at all against NC State, who I don't think has the best defense. It's solid, but Texas is a very good defense from what we've seen. They ran away with that game against UTSA. I think they win this game by 2 touchdowns. I'm on Texas minus 6.5.
Yeah, I'm on Texas as well. Texas Tech's offense, and imagine saying this 5 years ago, it just doesn't look good. Donovan Smith had some flashes against NC State, but apparently, and this is just me scrolling through Instagram a few minutes ago, apparently Quinn Ewers could possibly play in this game, which is very good for Texas. And even if he doesn't play, I still think Hudson Card is not good, but competent enough to win this game by at least a touchdown. I just think there's too much talent on Texas, especially, I mean, Bijan Robinson, Xavier Worthy, and that defense that you talked about. I don't know why this is only 6.5. Texas Tech is getting a little too much respect right here for playing NC State, a team that we don't know if they're all that good. Very close.
NC State's looked rough to start the year.
That offense is putrid.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But I like Texas in this spot. I'm going to talk about NC State later. Not that I have an official play for that, but I do have a play in my parlay. The next game, I think I'm the only one that has a play in this one as well. Another 3:30. I'm just looking down the ESPN slate right now. I have North Carolina money line against Notre Dame. I just don't like Notre Dame. I think they have looked awful. UNC is coming off a bye as well, right?
They are, yes.
They are, because they played week zero against FAMU. Yes. So I think Drake May, I don't think they're going to be like as potent as they have been, because Notre Dame's defense is like the only good part about that team. But I think Drake May will sling it. I think they'll score enough. I don't think Notre Dame can score. I don't think his name's Pine, the backup.
Drew
that
Pine.
Tommy Reese was yelling at. Yeah, Drew Pine's not good.
I mean, there's a reason Tyler Buckner was starting, and Tyler Buckner was comedically bad. I think one of the most interesting things about this game is this Notre Dame offense that has been disgusting, putrid, atrocious, every single bad adjective I can think of, going against UNC's defense, coached by Gene Chizik, which has also been every bad adjective you can think of. That's going to be the most disgusting matchup of the entire slate.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty gross, but I think UNC pulls away at home. And then, again, the 3:30 game, Minnesota, Michigan State. If you want to talk about that a little bit, Andrew Easter.
I don't have a play because I try and not bet Minnesota games unless we're playing Colorado. But it's really unfortunate what happened to Chris Autman-Bell. I hate that he's going to be done for the year. It hurts the offense, but it also means that guys are going to have to step up. Dalen Wright is a guy, I don't know why he doesn't get more targets. Whenever Tanner Morgan is able to perfectly place a ball near Dalen Wright, he's going to catch it. Very good when he's dealing with the ball in the air. Brevin Spanford, another underutilized weapon that they have. He's been getting like maybe 2-3 receptions a game. I expect that to shoot up. And the thing I'm not worried about from an unbiased standpoint, I don't care about being a Minnesota fan. I'm worried about Peyton Thorne going up against one of the better secondaries, one of the best secondaries in the country. Minnesota has a very good safety tandem of Jordan Howden and Tyler Nubin, and Peyton Thorne this year has sucked. He is awful. He overthrew maybe 4 touchdowns against Western Michigan, and I still hate him for that because I had the over in that game. But I don't know if he's really going to be able to get anything going. We don't know the status right now of Jaden Reed. The entire offense just doesn't look great. Jarek Brassard needs more touches. But that defense, that Michigan State defense, the secondary especially, Jacoby Windman's a freak. But that secondary for Michigan State is awful. Mel Tucker knows that he's called himself a horse bleep coach, which is also ironic because he was the secondary coach at Alabama. If Tanner Morgan can throw the ball and not throw a pick, Minnesota wins. It's either Minnesota wins by 10 or Michigan State wins by 10. I don't see this being a 2-point game at the end of the day.
Yeah, so I'm on the Minnesota side of things. I think that Peyton Thorne is not good. Like you said, Minnesota's a really good secondary. I'm on Minnesota with the 3. I mean, giving 3 on the road is pretty telling of what Vegas thinks of Michigan State. Their defense, their secondary is horrendous. I know Minnesota's going to run the ball, ground and pound, but their defense just isn't good. And I think if Tanner Morgan can run with play action and get those guys open down the field, he'll hit them. I think Minnesota wins this game by like 2 touchdowns, and that's my play, Minnesota -3.
I'd be very happy if that happened.
Yeah, me too. The next game, I mean, I just saw this right now. I'm just going to take this live on the pod, not really with much explanation. I'm just taking Cincinnati -16 against Indiana. I think Indiana stinks. I think Cincinnati's going to roll them. That's really my only take on that. But we could move on to the next one after that. App State JMU. I know that's an intriguing one, Andrewster.
Yeah, App State is a team that has had multiple needles filled with adrenaline just injected into their fan base's heart. And I think that they got to rip out the needle at some point. JMU's got a very explosive offense. App State did not play very well against Troy. They won because their quarterback underthrew a Hail Mary. Look, it was a great moment. Storm the field. That's cool and all. College game day. You underthrew a Hail Mary. You can't do that. JMU's offense getting 7.5 points to work with is pretty good for me. I have plus 7.5. I like them to win the game outright. I'll probably sprinkle money line come to game day, but I think that this is just not a letdown spot for App State because you can't really be let down as an App State fan. This is just more of a comeback down to earth spot.
It was supposed to be last week. They were supposed to have their comeback down to the spot last week.
It should have been last week if we're being real. Which also, by the way, Troy, intentional safety? Really? What is
that?
This?
Was ridiculous. I can't.
I like that play, but not with that little time. That much time left on the clock.
I only like it if you can.
If it can go to 0-0-0, that's when you do that.
Yeah. I understand Billy Napier did it, and he said, "Scared money don't make money." You kind of lost a lot of money right there, man.
Yeah, that was maybe the most questionable thing I've ever seen, ever. Yeah, but I like that JMU play. I'm gonna stay away from that game, just because App State at home is a different animal. You know, the America's team, they just cook up magic there. Moving on.
Playing this one would actually be the over. If I had to go on anything, it'd be the over.
I do like that actually. I might add that because I could see a lot of points being scored in that game for sure. Next game, I kind of just feel like I think all my games are bunched up at 12, 3:30. I'm taking Toledo against San Diego State. Toledo was in my lock last week. I took them against the over in the Ohio State game. I'm kind of going out there. But yeah, Toledo, the over in Ohio State game. They have a prolific offense. DeQuan Finn is incredible. San Diego State, Braxton Burmeister is their quarterback, I believe, and he's atrocious. And I don't think San Diego State's going to be – Toledo's defense is not very good, but I don't think San Diego State's offense is good. But just because Toledo's offense is that much better, I think they win this game pretty handily. I'm going to take the 3. I might switch to the money line. I'm probably going to – the 3 point. No, I'll take the juice. I'll go Toledo money line, actually, just because the 3 is kind of pushing me off. But yeah, I'm going to go Toledo money line in this game. I'll eat the juice. Yeah, but that's my play, Toledo.
DeQuan Finn had some incredible throws against Ohio State. He was making that Ohio State defense look like they were in East Lansing.
He's very slippery. Let's see, moving on. We don't really have anything after that. For a little. Oregon, Washington State intrigues me. That's in my parlay. I don't think you guys have anything on that, right?
No.
I'm going to just watch from afar.
Yeah, Washington State, I think could win that game. And then Tulsa having a parlay. Georgia Tech, UCF. Matt, I believe you have a play in that one.
Yeah, I have UCF minus 20.5 here. Georgia Tech's one of the worst teams in the FBS, probably at least in the bottom 5, if not lower. They just put up a donut against Ole Miss, who I'm not convinced has that much better of a defensive unit than UCF. UCF's defense has been its most consistent unit through 3 games. And then if John Reese Plumlee can put together enough on offense, I think they'll be able to cover 3 touchdowns pretty easily here.
Georgia Tech is – you got to think – I don't think Jeff Collins gets fired after this game because there's no way on earth they can beat UCF. I think if they lose to Boston College, a down Boston College team, I think Jeff Collins has to go if the loss is the result.
Yeah, I'm pissed about Scott Frost being how bad he is because I actually bet on Jeff Collins being the first coach to be fired this year at plus 500, and it's looking really good if Scott Frost didn't exist.
Oh, well, Herm Edwards.
Oh, yeah.
Or her fired on the field. Oh, boy.
Getting tarmacked or getting end zoned? What's worse?
That could be my lock, actually. Moving on. Let's see. I don't think we have anything official for Arkansas at Texas A&M, but I think that's an. Oh, actually, no. I have a play for that. Now that I look at my card, I'm taking Texas A&M money line. I'll take with the 2. I'll take the spread just because Arkansas almost lost to Missouri State. They did not look good, and I think just Texas A&M's defense is legit. Max Johnson looked all right. But I think they'll be able to manage the game and keep it close enough to where they'll win late. I think Texas A&M wins this game.
What's a higher probability? The fact that this game is going to be kind of disgusting, or the Yell leaders are going to end up having something extremely cringeworthy on Twitter Saturday morning?
Oof, that's really close. Yeah, I'd probably say Yell leaders, but the game, like Texas A&M plays ugly games. That's just how they play. They're very boring.
The only reason is the Yell leaders is 100%. The ugly game is like 95%.
Yeah.
Also, I'm taking the Yell leaders at like -1.
Yeah, I don't know how those guys do that.
Look, I'll say we love college football because of the tradition. That's the stupidest tradition I've ever seen.
Oh my God, it's so dumb. Like I at first I thought it was cool. I was like, yeah, the midnight yell is fun. But then I'm like, you go out, everyone fills the stadium the night before the game. Just like go to the bars, like just hang out. Why you got to do that? And the Yell leaders they're not funny. Are they supposed to not be funny? Like, is that the bit that they're supposed to be cringy?
If they're trying to be cringy, they're doing a heck of a job, man. They're doing a heck of a job.
Then they're absolutely incredible at their job. Yeah, wow.
Who's doing a better job? Yell leaders at being cringe, or their wrecking crew defense just making sure they will say whatever. Like, I hate them. I hate them. I hate them.
The guy went on. He told a story about a Miami fan. It was just I don't even remember. It was terrible. It actually made me delete Twitter. It was just all right.
Yeah.
Next game. Oh, I got game of the year. No, it's not for me, but this is just not for me, and it's not my game of the year. It's the game of the year. The best game of the year we're going to see, Rutgers, Iowa.
Ooh.
10 points, baby. 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, that total being 35.5 is hilarious. I'm on Rutgers plus 7.5. I had Rutgers in the upset show. I just think Rutgers keeps it close enough to where they could pull out the win. It's just because Iowa's offense is so horrible, it's hard to take them to win by a touchdown. I don't think you can. It's 7.5 right now. I'm going to take Rutgers for 7.5. But Iowa only covered against
them to score a touchdoad a game. How am I going to count on them to win?
Yeah, exactly. They beat Nevada 27-0, and they only covered that game because they scored. They had a 56-yard rushing touchdown at 2 a.m. with 4 minutes left, and it was just awful. And it was whatever. I'm just taking Rutgers. I think that it's a night game, which is again that's a weird vibe game. Rutgers being a night. Rutgers against decent crowds, and they can be relatively fun. Rutgers games. I know those tailgates are fun. I think Rutgers, the crowd will be going crazy. Shiano's going to cook something up. I think they'll cover the game. I don't know if they'll win. I can't guarantee you that, but I'm giving out them to cover the 7.5.
Also, right now the total is 34.
Oh my Lord, it went down.
It's moving down.
That's incredible.
It's yelling timber.
Oh man. All right. Let's keep moving. Wisconsin, Ohio State. Oh, actually, wait, before we get into that, take Bama first quarter. Again, when they play these bad teams like Vanderbilt, take the first quarter. I think it's at 13 right now. They'll cover that. They covered it last week. I think they've covered the past 4 that I've taken. So keep taking Bama first quarters. Wisconsin, Ohio State is a very interesting game. Yeah. And Drewster.
Until I'm proven otherwise, I think that this is one of the worst Wisconsin teams of the last decade. This team cannot move the ball through the air. People can say, oh, Graham Mertz didn't have the worst game against Wazoo. He didn't, but I'm also going to stand on this take, and people are going to say, oh, he's just saying it because I'm a Minnesota fan. Nope, screw all that for a second. Braylon Allen's one of the most overrated players in the country. He's not able to make anything work when the offensive line isn't giving him a massive hole. He will bounce off of an offensive guard, and he'll take the B gap, and he'll find a seam. But when that's not open, he's not getting anything. Ohio State's not going to give him anything. They're going to say, you know what, if Graham Mertz cooks us, Graham Mertz cooks us. I'm taking Ohio State -18. I think this Wisconsin defense is not that. It's good. It's not Wisconsin level that we expect from the last few years. I have Ohio State -18. I'm considering game day. If I have the vibes, I might tease another bet up to -23.5. I think this Wisconsin team is bad. I think Ohio State's going to – I mean, last week was kind of a wake-up. They scored 77 points. This is going to be a wake-up against a good team.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I just think Ohio State, their defense, not – but, if Braylon Allen, the only option Wisconsin has, then, they're just going to stack the box. Graham Mertz is very good. And I think Ohio State, it's a blackout, I think. They're wearing black jerseys, which I don't like when they do that. But Ohio State is going to win this game pretty easily. I like that play for sure. I don't think Wisconsin's very good.
I like everything you said except that about Braylon Allen. I like Braylon Allen. He's a cool dude.
Oh yeah, he's really good.
I'm sure he's a cool dude.
The box.
I'm sure he's a cool dude. He's from Fondue Lac, but I'm just saying, we all last year said, oh my gosh, a 17-year-old's doing this. Guess what? He's getting locked up like an adult now.
Well, he's 18 now, I believe.
He is 18.
He can get tried like an adult.
Wow. So the next game on the card, let's keep it moving. Yeah, because we don't have anything after that. I mean, I have a couple plays that I'm going to bring up in the parlay corner. But, yeah, if we keep Kansas State, Oklahoma, that's always an interesting game every single year. I find it interesting that Oklahoma's only a 13-point favorite at home against a K-State team that just lost Tulane.
And that is what I have.
Yeah, so if you want to get into that.
I have Oklahoma minus 13.5. This is almost just a fade Adrian Martinez play. But Kansas State has struggled heavily on offense this year, including running the ball, which struggling running the ball with Deuce Vaughn should be illegal. But Venables seems to have turned this Sooner defense around. Like they've been competent through 3 games so far, and Dylan Gabriel's been slinging it, and I think they should be able to cover 2 touchdowns really easily here.
What a fall from grace, the childhood sweetheart of everybody's, this is a sleeper team, Kansas State. And then it got slept against Tulane.
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, if this game was at K-State, K-State always beats Oklahoma at home for some reason. That happens every single year because always good Oklahoma teams go into Kansas State and just poop the bed and lose. So, but it's at Oklahoma, 13 small. I agree with you, Matt. I like that play. It's not on my card, but I think that's a good play. I might be leaning that now. I mean,
I might take that.
Yeah, I like that actually. Hawaii, New Mexico State is a sickos game for sure. That's unbelievable that that's actually a game
the 2 worst teams in the country.
Oh my lord, that's so funny. Yeah, then USC. Wait, did I just miss something? Did I jump a game? No, USC, Oregon State, right? Matt, you've been playing that, I believe, or
I do.
Yeah, you both do. All right. Yeah, I don't have anything in that because I'm a little scared. But you guys want to talk about that? Go.
You want to start, Matt?
I do have USC minus 6.5. It is in my parlay.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I have USC minus 6.5. I think Oregon State got lucky to beat Fresno State. If Tedford was a competent head coach, Fresno State wins that game. I'm going to ride with USC until they prove me otherwise. I don't think their defense is all too good, but they have a legitimate NFL offense. It's actually insane how smooth that entire machine is. And even if you take one cog out and put in another, it's going to be the same exact thing. I love USC. It's a shame that this game is on the Pac-12 network. I'm going to take USC until the wheels fall off of, I guess, the Trojan horse. So I guess if this is the time where the soldiers pop out and stab me in the heart 17 times, you know what? I'll take the loss.
Yeah, this is something. So the public has wanted to fade USC in every single game, because USC's been like pretty heavy favorites, and the public's taken the whatchamacallit, the dogs on the spread every time, and they've covered every single game. So like the public again wants to take Oregon State here, and I just don't see it.
Like people are saying this is going to be a very physical football game. Yes, Oregon State's a physical football team. What happens when the ball is above your head? What happens when Caleb Williams decides to turn into prime Madden 04 Michael Vick and Jordan Addison turns into freaking Megatron?
Yeah, you're not out jumping those guys. And I know there's a lot of hype around Oregon State that they're undefeated. People want this to be game day. I don't really see the appeal in Oregon State. They beat Fresno on the road last second. I unfortunately watched that basically entire game. But like Fresno State, they both beat Fresno State. I forgot USC crushed them last week, but Haener got hurt. They crushed Montana State. Okay, congrats. You scored a lot of points on them. Like the way that they played against Fresno State, they should not have won that game. Fresno State, just the first 2 weeks they played with Haener when they were fully healthy, they couldn't score touchdowns. They just couldn't do it. And then their kicker missed 2 field goals and 2 extra points, whatever it was, and that's why they won that game. Oregon State doesn't impress me. USC, their offense, very impressive. So I think USC is definitely the right call here. And then the next game, Wyoming BYU, very funny game, but we don't have anything on that. Arizona State. Utah's going to crush Arizona State, but that's not a play for us. I think Stanford, Washington, Matt, you have, right?
I have the over here. It's one of the ones where I'm pissed I didn't take it on. This number dropped at 55.5, and I wish I would have hammered that. It's now, I bet it at 61.5. I think it's still rising. I think it's at 62.5. But I still like this. This is two really high-powered offenses with defenses that leave a bit to desire. Both teams play at a pretty high pace. Washington is absolutely cooking to start the year. I think they should be able to score 40 pretty easily in this game, and Stanford's good enough on offense to put up 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm actually going to add that now because I agree. I think that's going to be official play for me as well. I like that over because Washington, they're just like Penix is electric. That atmosphere that they have is a lot of fun. They're just a fun team to watch, and Washington hasn't been fun lately.
55.5 was an absurd number. I'm pissed I didn't bet that.
Yeah, I mean that was a good one. But yeah, I mean I just think that it's just gonna be that's gonna be a fun game to watch. I think Washington will win pretty easily. But that over I like a lot. And then I think to round us out, I'm gonna finish the day off a bit of a gross play. This is also a sickos game. I'm taking Western Michigan +7 against San Jose State. Just because I want some action late, and I like Western Michigan. So far this year, they've looked all. I mean, they looked fine against Pitt. They looked fine against Michigan State. San Jose State did look fine against Auburn, but I just think this game's gonna be a lot closer than a touchdown. San Jose State almost lost to Portland State, so it's just kind of it's a touchdown. It's gonna be a weird late game that I'm gonna stay up and watch. But I think Western Michigan gonna even win it outright. But I'm gonna take the touchdown, and hopefully I'll end my day with a winner. So that wraps up. What you gonna say?
I was just gonna say San Jose State's been a weird story. You almost lose to Portland State, but you almost beat Auburn.
Yeah, very, very weird. I mean, that's just college football, man. That's why it's the best. So then that's our slate from us. It's a bit of a smaller card than we usually have. We also have one less guy, but I like the plays that we gave out, and now we're gonna move on to the parlay corner. And Drewster, I know you have a giant 10-teamer. If you want to get into that.
Yeah, last time I did a 10-teamer, every favorite decided to lose that week. So we're going to go again. And if we lose again, well, we're not going to. 10-team parlay, it's a 10-team, even though there's an under in it. 10-way parlay plus 458. UCF money line, Georgia Tech sucks. ECU money line against Navy. Navy sucks. Florida State money line, Boston College sucks. Texas money line. I think that they win this game by double digits. I don't think Texas Tech's a great football team. Purdue, bounce back game against an FAU team I still like, but Purdue's going to be able to pass around the yard. Ohio State -1,000. Wisconsin's not good. Boise State, UTEP, Gavin Hardison is yikes at quarterback. Utah -625. We talked about Arizona State's just in shambles right now. Washington -500 against Stanford money line, and under 38.5 for Iowa and Rutgers. So I'm not confident.
38.
You brought that one up. Yeah, I like that. There's a lot of favorites. I think you'll be. I mean, it's a can't lose parlay essentially.
It's never a can't lose parlay in college football, but I would honestly say the one I'm the most scared about is the second shortest. Is it shortest if it's the -1,000 or -1,100? I think FAU could be like one of the sneakiest upsets. I don't think it's happening, but if it did happen, I'd be like, yeah, FAU beat Purdue. Purdue, wow, you are really overrated.
So Matt, you want to do your little parlay now?
Yes. So I have just a little 3-legger. I don't like to do big dog parlays. Whatever. I have Wake Forest +7.5 against Clemson. I think I trust them to keep them within a touchdown. I have Minnesota -3 at Michigan State. I just think this Michigan State team hasn't looked good to start the year, and Minnesota has looked phenomenal. And then I have USC -6.5 against Oregon State, who we just talked about. I think USC should be able to cover this pretty easily. That's just a little 3-legger +600. Take normal spreads, get your money.
Nice.
I like that. Yeah, so I'm going with another dog parlay of the week. Last week, I don't know. I think I hit one leg, but whatever. Nebraska killed it early. This one, I'm going alt lines just because I kind of want – it's going to be a little less odds. I haven't really calculated it yet. But we're going alt lines here just to make it a little bit easier, so less of a sweat. I'm starting Miami of Ohio +10 against Northwestern. Northwestern just lost to Southern Illinois, and Miami of Ohio was solid against Cincinnati, I think. I mean, like, Cincinnati pulled away and beat them pretty easily, but I think Miami of Ohio keeps that game close. Wazoo plus 10. They could beat Oregon outright. It's 6.5. Just buy that up to 10 just to be safe. Then I took Tulsa plus 24 against Ole Miss. Ole Miss isn't impressive. That line's at 21.5. I kind of like the 21.5 by itself, but buy it up to 24, get that solid number. And then to round it out, I went a little crazier. I really went with a dog parlay. I got the UConn Huskies plus 42 to round that parlay out. Just because 39, I don't think NC State, I think they won by like 35. I don't think they won by 42. So I'm giving myself a little bit of a touchdown there. I haven't calculated that, but it's going to probably be around plus 850, 900. So that's my dog parlay of the week.
Hungry dog.
Yeah, hungry dogs. Hungry dogs run faster. So we're going to locks. I'm going to change up the order a little bit because I'm not super I'm confident in my lock. What am I talking about?
Lock.
If you want to start us off with your lock, your locks are 3-0 and you're 1-0 in game of the year. So I figure you should start this.
You know, when it comes to locks, you got to follow pattern. And a pattern that I've found this year that I love, is taking games with a certain team to go under. Last week, I had Old Dominion versus Virginia under game total. That hit by a mile. So you know what? We're going back. For the third time this year, I'm going to bet Virginia in an under, but not a game under. Virginia under 21.5 team total against Syracuse. Syracuse has a good defense. Syracuse should be able to keep the clock a little bit. Sean Tucker, I expect a bounce back game after a performance that he was not very pleased with. Syracuse, I love them in this game. They opened at like 3.5 and now they're 10-point favorites. I'm not going to touch the spread. I'm going to touch Virginia cannot score 21 points in an FBS football game. What Tony Elliott has done with that offense is shambolic. Brendan Armstrong's a good quarterback, but this year he's looked like a not so good one. I will love Virginia on the Friday night slate. I believe it's Friday night.
Yes, Friday night.
Friday night football, Friday night locks.
In the dome.
In the dome. I'm going to call it the Carrier Dome until I die. I don't care who buys the rights to it.
Yeah, it's called the Carrier Dome. I don't care what anyone says. All right, Matt, if you could bless us with your lock, please.
I have faded you. I have Michigan minus 16.5 here.
Oh, my God.
So Michigan has looked every bit the part of a CFB team this year that they've granted strength of schedule, but they beat every team they've played by an average margin of victory of 50. Maryland's easily the best team they've played, obviously, but I think the Michigan defense is good enough that they'll be able to at least slow down Taulia and those boys. I don't think the Maryland defense will be able to slow down what Michigan has been doing, and they haven't even been like outstanding on offense, but they've just been putting up points, just moving the ball down the field methodically. My other thing, the last 6 games that Michigan has played against Maryland, they beat them by an average of 32 points. So I like that 16.5. That is my lock.
All right, fine. Just fade me. I guess it's fine.
We faded each other twice this year. You're 1-0. You had the half point against in the opener against
West Virginia. You had the
half point.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I love those half points. I'm always safe. All right, so I really went on a vision quest for this lock. The board wasn't really talking to me as much as the previous 2 weeks with Air Force and the over in Toledo, Ohio State. So I had to go on a bit of a soul search, and I searched the board and I scoured the board, and I found one I fell in love with. This is a 5-star white whale play lock. Lock it in. I'm going to the Sun Belt. I'm going with the team that won me money last week. South Alabama minus 13. Yes, Carter Bradley's Jaguars. Hammer it. It's a lock. It's going to happen. South Alabama is going to destroy Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech they're just not a good football team. They beat Stephen F. Austin pretty handily. Stephen F. Austin's a fine FCS team. They lost to Clemson by 28. They got stomped by Missouri. South Alabama should have beat UCLA. They're going to be fired up this week. They're at home. Louisiana Tech's coming to their house, and they're going to crush them. South Alabama minus 13, that's the lock. So, Andrew, sir, if you want to recap, do your lock. Matt, you do your lock, and then I'll reiterate my South Alabama play, and we'll Wrap it up.
Am I doing my entire card or just
No,
the lock?
just a lock.
UVA under 21.5. I fade bad offenses.
Michigan minus 16.5. I fade my co-hosts.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'd rather your lock hit than one of my just regular cards, so I might just strike that from the record. But I'm probably still in there. I'm ending the locks with South Alabama minus 13, USA the Jags, and that's our show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Let's win some money.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.